Welcome to this lecture. So we have done this command, or we just made this payload in the previous lecture, where we are going to just give all the directories of the current location and we just show in that particular cell. But in this lecture you can see that this is not the perfect payload. So what we are just doing is we just basically get the information back to the client. So we don't get access this information as a hacker, because this client machine is not in the SS of the server. So this is basically out of the SS of the hacker. So now in order to get back to this information communicated to the server or communicated to the hacker, you have to send this information to somewhere. So in this case we are not going to just connect to the server. Instead we are just going to make a Gmail communication, or basically communication with the Gmail server. So let's do that. So before that, you can see this is the command that is going to just list out all the directory, and this is not effective command because we don't have any critical information that can be gathered with this dir command. So next thing what you need to do is let's test some other command that is going to give us more information than this dir command. So I'm going to use this netsh command, and what this does is it will just get you all the information of the profiles that your communication is happening. So in this case you can see I'm just communicating with this network, that is this with this name. So it will just give all the profile that this client computer has ever connected to. So basically we are just getting the interfaces of the Wi-Fi connection from this command. So what I'm going to do is show, and I'll just so before that, so we have to get WLAN, because this is going to be the Wi-Fi network and we are just targeting to the Wi-Fi network. So I'm just saying that so all the profile of that Wi-Fi network that this client is connected to. So it will give you the information that is saying that this is the user profile that has been connected. So this client machine has connected to at least these two profiles. So now let's copy this one and let's see the output, or basically let's see the key of this profile, or basically we want to see the password of this Wi-Fi network. So in order to do that, the command will be the same as before, but now we have to add the profile. In this case the profile will be Kafle family, which is you can see over here, and we'll just say key should be clear in order to see the key of this profile. So let's hit enter and let's see the password over here, which is just seen here, that is the key content, saying it is the key content. Now we can just get this critical information, and now with this information you can send this information to the server, or in this case we are going to send this to the Gmail. So let's configure that before. So all you need to do is simply write that command over here. So instead of dir, now we want to execute this command, which is netsh wlan show and profile, which is referring to maybe, so this is my command, and the key should be clear. So now we have just executed it. So let's go back again and let's see if this payload works again or not. So I'll just go over here, let's navigate to the machine that is the payload location, and in this way we can just run the Python code that is with this Python keyword and malware.py. You could see our payload is working perfectly. It has shown us all the information of the SSDs it is connected with, and the information about the password over here. So now what you need to do is we'll just copy all of this information and we'll just send this information to the server, and in this case it is going to be Gmail server. So we'll just go back to our code. Now this payload is going to just execute this command perfectly. So now after the sub process we have to now import another module, and that is going to be SMTP library. So this SMTP library is going to send us the email. So this SMTP library is going to send us the email. So in this case the server will be Gmail, not Yahoo. So we want to send the email to the server, which is Gmail. So let's make the function to do that. So I'm just saying send mail, and here I want to just get the email and the password where it want to send, and the message that will be displayed or that will be sent to the Gmail account. So we'll just get this information, and over here we are just going to just take every information of the Gmail server. So let's make this server object first. So in order to make that, you have to first use this SMTP library, which is responsible for sending the mail. And here we have this interface, or you can also say the class, that is going to be SMTP class. And here you have to send the SMTP protocol and your port number where this Gmail is listening to. So this will be specific to the Gmail. So now I'm just going to give the Gmail port here, which is this Gmail server resides. So it is in this 587 port. So after that we have to just start this server. So in order to start, we have this command, which is start and TLS. We are just starting this server now. So after that we'll just log into the server, and we have this login method that is of this SMTP library. So here we have to send the email and the password, because we have to log in first. So after login, we want to send the email. We have this send mail method in order to send the mail in that email. And I'll just say email first and a password, and it should be message. So it will just send mail to that email, password and the message, with the message that is just given with calling of this send mail. So this message will be the result of this execution of the command over here. So let's go down. Now we have to just quit the server, and I'll just say server.quit to quit the server. Now we have completed our send mail method. So you could closely see over here, we need the email and password in order to log in to that Gmail server. We send this message as a result of this execution of this command. We have seen that this command is going to give us the information about the password of this profile, which is our Wi-Fi network, and we're just going to execute that command over here. And after that we just get the message, we'll just send here, and it will just send that message back to this Gmail, or this Gmail will be the Gmail of the hacker. So let's go down, and now what you need to do is we need to send the email. So now instead of just running this process in the same file, I will just say check output, because we don't want to run that in the cell. So this check output is going to just give us the result, but it is not going to give us the information in the same cell. So why we don't want that this execution of the command will be in the same cell is because we don't want any suspicious activity to be carried out in the client, so that our payload will be more robust and less suspicious for the client. So what we are just doing here is we are just checking the output. That means this command will not get the output to the client. Instead it will just get the result, and this result will be in this result variable. So we'll just store that result, that is just the execution of this command. We'll just send that result in this result folder, and you know next what to do, that is to send this result as a message to this send mail method. So we'll just call this send mail method now, and in this send mail you have to first give the email, and next should be the password, and the next is this result. So now this mail should be correct email and a password, because this is not going to work if you just write here that is the wrong mail and wrong password, because you can clearly see that we have just log in with that email and password, and whatever the result will be is sent to that same mail and a password. That means you have to make now new test email that should be Gmail and a password, and you will just put it over here. So in my case I have just created one Gmail for this testing purpose, so I'll just put here. Now after you just put that email, you have to put the password. So this is my password in an email, and just make sure this is correct, because this is going to be your server where this result will be sent. So make sure this email and the password is correct, because you could see first of all it should log into our email and password, and then it will just send this email. So before sending email it will just log in. That means this password and this Gmail account should be correct. So we have now completed our program. So let's save this first, and let's make sure there is no any typos and everything is correct over here. So let's save this, and you could see this is the port which is 587, and this is the SMTP port for the Gmail server. So let's save this first, and let's go to our CMD where we are executing this Python file. Let's navigate again to the desktop, and let me say that is Python, and it should be malware.py. And so before executing that, one thing you have to remember is you have to first go to your Gmail account and go to the settings, and you'll see that there will be some link, something like this, which is in this Google account, that is in this myaccount.google.com, and you have to make sure that this less secure app SS is turned on. So if you just turn this off, this is not going to work, so you have to turn on in order to use this payload. So after you just turn that on, let's go back over here, you'll just hit enter, and now our malware is ready, and this has executed some command, and you could see that it has raised some error. But let's see, because maybe due to the connections error. So let's go back here and let's refresh. Let's see if this is working or not. So this is not working. Let's go back, and the error here was when we just log in, it was just refusing this connection. So let's see what is happening over here. So let's go again and check. Let's refresh this. It is not working obviously, so we are just getting error. Let's run it one more time and let's see what the error is. So I'll just navigate again, and let's run this malware. So it will just wait for a moment, and let's see if this is working. So yes, we just get the information. Maybe it was not working for the first time, but now we're getting the information. So what you can do is basically, let's go and you can just run that one more time. So you can do that, and you could see that now in this case we have this email and a password. So instead of password, you can also send with this email. So you can do that. Let me save this one more time, and let's go back here and let's execute this one more time. So let's hit Python malware and let's go back, and let me just delete this, and you can see the another information is popped out. So let me just open it, the new one, and you could see this is the information with this, that is your Python malware that is going to execute that command, give you information back to this account which you have just sent over here. So this is cool, isn't it? So what we just did was we just made use of this command what we just write in this malware, which is this command. So you can also use this command. You can just copy this, and you can see here that this will give this information, and this information has to send to the hacker. So in this case we are not using the socket programming that we used in the previous section, which was making the backdoor, but in this case we just made use of this send email, that is the Gmail server, which is this protocol, and this is the port that Gmail server will be running. We just use this login method and the send mail method, which is going to take this email, and you can see this is the email, but you can also see the password that is going to work in the both case, and you can see the command that is going to execute with this check output. So now we don't want this popen method to be executed, because if you just execute this popen, then it is going to execute in the shell. So we don't want that this should be executed on the shell. Instead we just want to grab the result, and this should not be executed on the shell, because that can be suspicious for the user and they can just get information. So basically we just want to check the output, that is by this method, which is check output. Basically this will just execute on the shell and give you the result, and we just stored over here, and then we just mail that to this email and the password we just sent here. So let's save this one more time. Let's see again the working, and let's do something like, instead now what I want is not this information, I want maybe, okay, not this information now. So let's see dir information, or basically dir command. So let's execute this again. So let me say cmd, let's go back to the desktop, and let's run again that malware. And if I just hit enter, then let's go back and let it give a time. Okay, we have this information now again, and let's check this out. Then you could see that this is the information that is sent, and it is saying that this volume has no label and all the information over here, and this is the directory. And you could see this is the current directory we are on, because you could see this is the desktop, and if I say directory, then this is all the information that we have, and it is sent back to our Gmail. So this is way in which you can execute the command on the client and get the information back to the Gmail. So we'll just see some of the keyloggers and the blogger and some of the other application that we'll execute in the upcoming lecture, and we'll just make the communication between the client and server through this Gmail. So see you in the next one.